to episode 3 of the Wii60 Show, the official podcast of Wii60.com.
Hello and welcome again to the Wii60 Show, the official podcast of Wii60.com. My name is Jerry, aka Jerbol, and joining me, my co-host, Big Lou.
Hey, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Big?
It's a fabulous Thursday the 15th, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, why not? We're having a little bit of trouble with this podcast, so if the sound quality doesn't sound so great, it's all Lou's fault. That's all you need to know.
Hey, yeah, it is, actually.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and recap on the last show that we did. We had again a good outcome, good results, good feedback, and let's see, we had a couple things that went down. So, anything you want to talk about last show?
I really think that the chat feature was actually a success. You know, it got a lot of people involved with the show right away. Instead of just having to drop us an email or we have to scan over stuff in the forums, we get their feedback immediately, and
yeah,
it's really relevant to our news topics.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome, and even with me zoning out here and there, it still turned out to be a success. But I will need to master that technique before we go live, if you want to call it that. What else? So we had an interesting poll. I don't know if you saw. Who was it? I think Drew took it upon himself to make a who's hotter, Daisy or Peach poll. So that was constructive. Let's see. We had a quick results here. Daisy actually won. My girl Daisy.
Well, I did vote for Daisy.
So did I.
The winning vote.
So did I. And we had 27 to 22. So close one. But Daisy, she took the win. So she wins the contest there. Daisy is definitely hotter than Peach. And if you're a big Peach fan, then you can come on the show and defend it.
I think whoever voted for Peach is gay.
Is that it?
I think that's probably that's actually scientific.
Peach she's cute. Is that like if you drive a red Mustang, you're automatically gay? One of those things. Have you heard that? Have you ever heard that?
I guess.
You don't have a red Mustang, do you?
No, I don't have a red Mustang.
Good. No, that's what I've heard, though. I've heard that. I've also heard people who drive Jettas are gay. Volkswagen, okay, we'll get you. Anyway, last show was a success. Once again, we had good feedback, so thanks a lot. And we have even more feedback for this show. We have some emails, some audio questions even. So yeah, we're going to have a good show for you today. A little dry on news, I think, so far. We'll see how things go.
There's not a lot of, console news. Most of the news on the front today is mostly just, software and gaming.
Yeah.
Nothing late-breaking.
No, nothing huge, but we're going to still do the show and try to make it interesting. So, let's see. First of all, how was your week, Big? We had some trouble getting the show going, so obviously this one's a little late, so you have a little bit more than a week.
We were supposed to do it last Thursday, I think it was.
Yeah,
but my internet connection went down, and then we were supposed to do it Saturday, but we couldn't organize our schedules. It's been a hectic week for me, both working and socially, so with the Father's Day weekend, so I'm glad we could finally settle down and get this done, get this going, and I'd like to say that I am now an official Nintendo DS Lite user.
Oh, yeah. So,
I heard you got yours too?
Did you get yours on, Sunday? Did you get it on Sunday when it was released?
Yes, I did. I heard a lot of people saying, you got to get it quick, you got to get it early, there's going to be a shortage of them, but nope. I got mine 3 in the afternoon. There's plenty of them. Yeah,
well, I actually, I even made a post about it. That's how sad it is. That's how excited I was. I needed to share it with everybody. I went to Walmart late at night. I had an Oreo craving, and I decided to just stop by electronics to see if they were going to sell it yet or not, and sure enough, they did. It was because it was technically Sunday. So, there you go. I was happy to get it.
Did you get your Oreos?
I did get my Oreos. That was first and foremost. Got my Oreos, then I got the DS Lite. Then I went home and played the DS Lite, and I ate my Oreos. So it was a good night. And and I posted pictures of it on the forums. So how sad is that?
Well, speaking of the DS, I actually recently created a poll for the DS Lite.
Yeah.
The poll I created, the question was, will you be purchasing a DS Lite? And there was yes, I already have one. 12 users, about 25% said yes, they already have one. I was one of them because I made this poll after I bought my DS. And then there was the second answer, yes, I don't have one yet. And that was the largest percentage. It was 55%. Then we go, no, I already own a regular DS, and I guess for them, a DS Lite isn't necessary. And 18%, or 9 users, said that. And then there's no, I don't want one, which one user, 2%, said. And I guess they just don't really care about the DS enough.
I love my DS Lite. What can I say?
Oh,
and it was a practical purchase for me because my wife plays it a lot, so now we have 2. And so it made sense to have 2, and I've been playing Mario Kart and Tetris head-to-head, so that's been a lot of fun. I asked in the chat who had their DS Lite, and I saw Super Toy said me, and then I couldn't read the rest because I don't have time to scroll up and read everything, and then Echo Leader like spammed the chat with for the win, for the win, for the win, for the win. So, yeah, whatever. I don't know if anyone said anything, so thanks a lot, Echo Leader. He wanted to get mentioned on the show, and he just did. So
all right. Hey, there you go.
Even though he was being scolded for spamming, that's all right. We forgive him. As long as he sends me $10, I don't care.
Now, Petrified Soul in the poll topic said that, he only recommends getting a Lite if you're a hardcore DS player or you haven't gotten a DS yet. But his argument is that it's not all that great compared to the regular DS, but I would have to disagree with them. In fact, a lot of our members already did kind of discredit that reply, saying that, basically the screens are so much better, so much brighter, that they actually do make the games look graphically enhanced. And the battery life is a lot better. It's smaller. I mean, you could say that, because it looks sleeker, that's a buying point, but it does look nice, but that's not why I bought it. I got it just because it's so much better of a system.
The colors, the colors just pop out.
Oh, I
did a side-by-side comparison.
I think it's just as good as the PSP screen, which is a phenomenal screen for being so small.
Oh, definitely.
But yes, I also, my buddy has a regular DS, and we compared side by side, and the lowest DS Lite backlight setting is actually still brighter than the original DS Lite.
Yep, it sure is. And
it's just bizarre.
The colors are just brilliant.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, the blues and reds, they just stand out. It's very nice, very nice. And it makes Metroid Prime Hunters a lot easier to play because it's a kind of a dark game.
Oh, it is.
And you play on the DS Lite with your setting up, and you can see everything. It's great.
I don't know if I would say it's easier, though, because I still get my butt kicked online. I don't understand. They get, instant kills, and it's just bizarre to me.
Headshot.
I'm gonna have to mod it.
If you're like a competitive player, though, of Metroid, I don't know if there is competitive play for that yet. I'm sure there could be, like tournaments and whatnot. It would be a worthy purchase because it would actually probably enhance your game. Probably make it better.
And even if other players don't have the card, it's a single card playable game. You're limited to only one game type and only using Metroid instead of the other 6 available characters.
Samus.
Yeah. Metroid. I'm sorry.
You said Samus. I wish you could be Metroid.
You'd probably kick ass.
Yeah, if you're
Metroid. No, but Samus Aran. But it's still a lot of fun being able to play just regular Slayer on any of the maps that you have unlocked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool game. So, DS Lite is awesome. We got ours, and it's holding us over till our next purchase. So
the Wii?
The Wii. Probably. That'll probably be my next one. So, our next gaming purchase. So, unless you count computer, which I'm still working on.
And are you going to give this a recommendation to even those people that do have already a DS? Because I'm going to give my recommendation to everyone out there to get the DS Lite, even if they do have a DS.
I say if you have a regular DS and you have a wife or a girlfriend, pick up a game like Tetris or something, or Animal Crossing, or Brain Age
is also awesome.
If your girlfriend's not so bright, and give her that. Give her your old one. Be a nice guy. Give it to your little brother or sister, and go do yourself a favor and get yourself a brand new DS Lite. If you have the money, if you have the cash. It's not too bad.
if you don't have anyone that's interested in getting the DS, trade it in, get a few bucks off of it, and then there you go. It's a little bit cheaper for the DS Lite.
And a little bit cheaper. You get $5 off. So that's what they do at some of these GameStops. It's almost a rip-off sometimes. But they actually had a special. Whenever the new one came out, it was $70 you got for your DS. That ain't bad.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
Not buck. You know, you don't cash, but you get $70 towards the
the DS Lite. Yeah,
that ain't bad. Ain't bad.
That's actually a pretty good. That's about half of what the DS Lite was. So
yeah, it's not bad.
$70 for an upgrade.
Everyone, ask yourself this: are we ready for Wii news? Nintendo Wii.
What's first on our list here, Big?
Well, we got some interesting news on the processor. Apparently, from President Satoru Iwata, that he claims that the processor is going to be more powerful than any next-gen high-definition capable console, which he doesn't say a name, but obviously he's referring to the PlayStation 3 and 360. He says that it could be up to a quarter to an eighth more powerful than the other processors out there, which is really interesting because everyone thinks that the Wii is going to be, the least powerful, similar to what the GameCube was compared to the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. But this new revelation says that the processing power, at least the processing power, maybe not all the other components, it's going to be a little bit more powerful. So we're going to be able to see some really fantastic looking games out there.
I wonder, you see a lot of times the processor doesn't necessarily contribute a whole lot to graphic capability as far as PCs go, because the games just aren't taking advantage of that. It's more GPU intensive. Mm-hmm. So does this mean that the CPU is going to have more part in that area of the visuals, or is it going to be more on the level of physics and?
Well, actually, the physics is controlled by a specific physics chip, which is going to control all of the physics in the game as well as the physics from the remote. So the CPU, where all the processing is going to be in the Wii, it's more powerful. So I'm not sure if it's going to control the graphics really, because it already has a VGA video card.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Next up is our Wiimote advancements. Nintendo actually just recently discredited the fact that there's going to be a microphone on the Wiimote, saying that they're instead going towards a headset of types just to make the Wiimote a little bit cheaper, a little bit more cost-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, there's not quite yet a final design on the Wiimote, so what we're seeing yet, especially at E3, all the demo Wiimotes, might not actually be exactly what we see when the system ships. They're talking about maybe one more or two more buttons in place
they're
somewhere.
kind of specifically stuck on how many buttons are perfect and where to stick them.
See, now you can't go wrong with too many buttons. It could get a little cluttered, but the problem is you're going to have to come up with a setup to make it comfortable for your hand to go to all those buttons and usable, like make those buttons usable. Because right now the Wiimote is a very long remote control. And a lot of people, especially at E3 playing the demos, have complained a little bit about saying how, when they switch from the one or two buttons all the way up to the D-pad, they have to move their hand quite a big distance, and that could affect gameplay a little bit. So we're not sure yet how Nintendo is going to completely make this 100% on the controller.
Yeah. Yeah, in the chat, Surutoy says, I want more buttons. And Gilkev says... Super Toy, he says, I want more buttons again. Kilkev says, more buttons. Everyone's talking about buttons. That's not very exciting. I thought there may be some kind of innuendo in there, some potty mouth humor. Nothing.
I want buttons. Buttons good.
Me want button. So,
but right now, you're looking at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buttons plus the D-pad.
We're going to take a 180 to cover the 360, Xbox 360.
Moving on to the Xbox 360 news. First of all, we have this article here. Microsoft developing iPod killer. Have you read a whole lot about this, Big Lou?
Yeah, I have, and it's hard to understand if anyone can kill the iPod. I mean, everything out there is something or another. It's so standard that it's going to be hard to, top the iPod.
Well, yeah, when you say MP3, I say iPod, basically. That's what it's come down to.
And when you say tomato, I say iPod.
Yep. There you go. I wonder how many people will get that joke.
I don't know.
Depends on how many young ones we have.
But anyways, what it is Microsoft's coming up with a couple new devices. Obviously, they're just kind of similar to PDAs in the fact that they do multifunctions with operating systems and tasks such as Windows, Word, and Excel and stuff like that. But there's also a lot of talk about these systems or handhelds will have like various gameplay elements where they're able to possibly port Xbox 360 or PC games onto the handhelds. Now, Microsoft has officially said that they're not announcing anything about a handheld video game device, but they're not also saying that there is no such thing as a game play possible handheld device. So we're looking at something that Microsoft's coming out with. They're going to try and compete with the iPod head on. They have a new music download service called The Urge, which is going to be basically similar to iTunes. And they also have a couple of new devices coming out in the market, which will take advantage of the Urge music download service. It's also, I think, a video download service, but it also has the ability to play games. So we won't know until more news on those systems come out, but it's looking promising that maybe Microsoft is getting into the handheld game market.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. The iPod is a monster, like we already talked about. A lot of those in the chat. You mentioned that Liquid here. He's a new guy. Hey, Liquid. He says, I don't think it will do well. People buy iPod because it sort of has a reputation with it. And not even sort of. It does. It has a reputation. Yeah. It's been around for a long time. It's, one of the flagships of the MP3 market. It has the competitors like Creative, which are right on their tails. But Microsoft is just jumping in here with this. You wonder how much it's going to cost. Are they going to produce a unit where they're going to lose money on? It's going to be a great value. Or are they going to try to make a lot of money off of it? It seems like introducing themselves into this right now, so late in the game, they're going to have to bite it somewhere. They're going to have to take the hit somewhere.
Well, we did also discuss this on a previous show. There were some developers out there saying that there's rumors of Microsoft coming out with a handheld device, but this is actually coming from Microsoft development team. But on our previous show, we talked about how Microsoft would be willing to lose billions of dollars on such a device, knowing that in the long run that they're actually going to make money off of this. So I don't think that they're discouraged by the price that it's going to take to compete with iPod right off the bat. So who knows? They might actually, make this an all-in-one system similar to the PSP, and people will buy it.
Psychonauts, a big game to many, but not to the masses, is coming to backwards compatibility, maybe. So we'll have to see. We're supposed to keep a lookout for that. It says that there's a petition out going around. They're trying to get attention, and so far it's working. So
what game is this?
Oh, Psychonauts. Did I not even say the game?
I was thinking that you were talking about someone on our chat. I'm sorry. Psychonauts. Yeah, it's a good game.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought I went through all that and didn't even say the name of the game. I'm sorry.
No, you said it.
Okay. All right. I never know because I screw everything up.
You do screw things up.
It says one of the members of the Back and Pat team posted on the IGN forums. Rest assured, we are working on Psychonauts.
Hey, there you go. All right.
Well, isn't that just a beautiful story? The gaming community comes together and they petition it, and this time it actually worked. or they were working on it anyway, and it was just a coincidence. But
Well, I think developers are starting to realize that, they can't just possibly go blindly into the market. They're going to have to get some feedback from their audience, especially smaller companies that develop games such as Psychonauts. But, I mean, a lot of companies are picking up where Bungie has let off with all their community support. They actually have a dedicated forum just to their game types where people will vote on what game types they want. They'll give suggestions, and Bungie literally backs them up and follows through with the changes and makes updates to the game based on what the people want.
it's good to see that happening because the community, I mean, as huge as it's getting on the internet, the impact these people can have, the amount of people that sign these petitions, I mean, they get to the hundreds of thousands. Mm-hmm. It's worth it for the companies to take notice of that and do something about it.
And it really does make an effect, especially with longevity of a game. I mean, you could look at maybe 20 million games a month on a certain online game, whereas a couple months down the line, it could go down to a couple million here and there. Mm-hmm. But if this company is really listening to their users, that game is still going to be as popular as ever.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Here's an interesting news item. The Xbox Live Marketplace seeks its prey demo. Do you think it's gonna come? It's supposed to. The Prey, the game by 3D Realms, says that the demo is going to be out on the marketplace on June 22nd. That's what they say. That's what they claim.
I really, really hope for this because that game looks unbelievable.
That's only 2 days away.
Yeah,
three days, actually. 3 days, whatever. Do you think we'll see it in 3? I mean,
I don't know if does it say playable demo?
It says demo.
So it could be demo. It could just be a video.
I think they're talking about playable demo.
Wow, that'd be amazing.
Wasn't it playable at E3?
Yes.
Well, then all they gotta do is put that up on there.
That's true.
So that is believable to an extent.
What would be unbelievable is if they actually do online demo.
Yeah. Oh, here. What it says is that the demo is supposed to be 5 levels long.
Wow.
5 levels. Now, there's a lot of suspicion if the game will even get released. Some people have likened it to like the Duke Nukem Forever of the Xbox 360. Along with that thought, Eavesstraw says like Duke Nukem Forever. See, that's just what I was talking about. Liquid says could be good, but I don't know. I just don't have a good feeling about Prey. Might just be another shooter using a Doom 3 engine. Good point. We'll have to wait and see about that.
Well, the Doom 3 on the Doom 3 engine wasn't that great as a multiplayer shooter. I mean, it was fun when you played the campaign. It was pretty creepy and pretty dark and mysterious, but I've played a lot better shooters. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't seem like it's as solid as it can be.
Yeah. I wonder if Duke Nukem Forever will ever come out. That's a good. It's been in development since 1997, I think.
That's similar to StarCraft Ghost.
Yeah. Similar. Except now StarCraft Ghost is actually canceled.
Yeah, that is true.
Whereas Duke Nukem Forever is still somewhere in limbo. No one knows what happened to Duke Nukem Forever. It's just kind of hanging there. It's a sad thing.
One of Xbox 360's top-level game developers, actually Matt Lee, has recently been criticizing Sony's PlayStation 3, mainly the processor. He's saying that, the power processing element, or the PPE, is essentially identical to the one that the 360 has in its core. In fact, it's saying that the 360 core is actually quite a bit more powerful. It's got a lot of enhancements with actually double the cache. So you're looking at more cache memory for the Xbox 360 core processor. However, a lot of people are discrediting this information, saying that the power processing element in the PlayStation 3 is not exactly the most important, since that there's 7 synergistic processing elements, or SPEs, that control different elements of the game, and the PPE is actually just kind of guiding over the 7 SPEs, and so it's not exactly as needed as the 360 needs the PPE. at its processor.
And I like this little paragraph here. Lee, however, feels that the Xbox 360's custom triple-core PowerPC-based design is better suited to provide quote-unquote cool stuff, such as the Xbox 360 guide. Well, of course he does. He works for Microsoft.
Well, duh. I mean, the PowerPC is definitely Microsoft-based software, hardware.
So, of course, he feels that it's better. But in defense of that, you know, you have to know what you're talking about on this subject here, about what all this means, and you have to have a pretty good inside information, and neither of which I have.
Well, it basically comes down to the Xbox 360 has a more powerful power processing element, which basically controls all the elements of gameplay, like the physics and whatnot and stuff like that. But the PS3, they're relying more on the synergistic processing elements, which are split up, and each controls a certain level of gameplay. Like one controls, the physics, one controls perhaps the graphical.
My question is, isn't that harder to develop for whenever you have all those separate things?
It actually is. A lot of developers have, criticized Sony for making such a, difficult system to develop for.
That's what you call more points of failure.
Oh, exactly.
Instead of having on one spot. So, that's just from a common sense perspective, because I don't really know much of the technical side, but it seems like that would be harder to develop for because it's more complicated. Simple. It's just simple. It's more complicated.
It kind of comes down to, both sides have their up and downs. I mean, the Xbox 360 doesn't have as much, separate processors or processing power to do multiple tasks at the same time. It does have the dual cores and stuff like that, but but it's also a lot faster. Whereas the PlayStation 3, it has the ability to separate its processing power a lot more efficiently to do a lot more tasks, but it's not as powerful. So it's kind of toss up. But we'll definitely see what goes on when the games actually come out.
Super Toy, he's with me. He says, I'm not gonna pretend to understand what he's talking about. And yeah, I think that's what he was talking. I think he was relating to this article.
Now, please let me know if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm going off of just, common knowledge that I do know. Perhaps there's something a little bit more in depth that I could be explained about. Just let us know on the forums if any of you actually
clarify on this.
Oh yeah, clarify as
if you're
much
a developer,
as you can.
if you're working on the hardware, especially, let us know. Be on the show.
In fact, give us some dev kits.
Yeah. Is Mr. Who is Mr. What's his last? Mr. Pink, I think is what it is. He says this falls in line with, he quotes, this falls in line with Microsoft's recommendation of the Wii over the PS3 to sit alongside their X360 at home. Yeah, good find, because that's something else, huh?
Yeah, I mean, this further states that Microsoft is actually, they're saying that the Wii is much better than the PlayStation 3. I'm not sure if they actually believe that. It might just be kind of a marketing approach because they know that they're going to sell more than the Wii, but they're trying to get other people to buy the Wii instead of the PS3, which is the PlayStation 3 is going to be a larger competitor.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it could just be some smart marketing, or it could just be the fact that they actually really like the Wii. Nonetheless, Nintendo's getting a lot of free advertisement for this.
Yep.
I mean, even PlayStation 3, Sony has said that the Wii is a great console. It's going to be, they're recommending it, but they're recommending it as the second console. But still, there you go. There's that free advertisement for Nintendo.
Yeah. Back another quote here in the chat, just back a little bit further. Project 343, he says, does anyone else think Prey has a pretty dumb story, Native American plus aliens? And,
well, I mean,
I have to kind of agree with him. It is kind of goofy. What do you think?
It's hard for developers to come up with new ideas these days. It's the same as movies. Like, all you see nowadays are either a Marvel comic movie or a remake of a movie 20 years from ago. And who knows, this might actually work out to be something brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Who knows? But it could be good. But this does seem awfully random, but we'll see. You can't really tell if it's a bad story or not till you experience the story. But I guess the premise itself is a little off, I guess.
Well, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of games out there that do have a really crappy story.
Oh, yeah. Granted.
Most, especially, I'm going to get hated by saying this, but a lot of these Zelda games, there's no story at all. I'm not talking about Ocarina of Time or stuff like that. I'm talking about more of the overworld games.
You just brought the wrath down upon
No,
yourself.
trust me. I'm seriously. I own every single Zelda console game, other than the 3 CD games from Panasonic. I am a die-hard Zelda fan, but I'm not gonna lie. Especially the overworld, the overhead view Zelda games, like the original Zelda and all the Game Boy Zelda games.
Right.
There's not much of a story there. It's the same game, just with a little bit better dungeons, newer weapons and stuff like that. It's still a damn good game. It's fun to play. I wouldn't buy them if they weren't great games.
The mechanics are there.
Yeah, it's just brilliant.
It has enough to keep you going.
It's brilliant gameplay, but the story is lacking. I mean, there's a lot of games that, like Prey. Prey could have a horrible story, but you're still going to find it fun. You're still going to play it. You're still going to want to play it after you've played it before. I mean, who knows? I mean, yes, I know I'm going to get a lot of wrath for this, but it's true. You have to look at it. Zelda Ocarina of Time,
right?
One of the greatest stories in a game ever.
Majora's Mask had a great story too.
Oh yeah, I mean that was such an innovative gameplay. Like the 3 days to play, and you keep playing back and forth in the same days and stuff like that, and the story unfolds on each day. But a lot of these other Zelda games, no story.
What games did have a lot of story on the Nintendo? I mean, there wasn't a lot there. It wasn't the best medium for it. And
no,
I mean, look at Mario. You go into a dungeon, you kill stuff, you try to rescue the princess, and that's basically what Zelda was.
Yep.
And, that's basically what it was. So I just said again, and I've said it probably 30 times this show.
You're right.
Yes, I am. Should we move on to the PlayStation 3 news? I think we should.
Let's go for it.
Hey, at least PlayStation 1 and 2 were good. This is news for PlayStation 3.
Dive into the PS3. What do you got? Nothing?
Let me look.
I got news for you.
What
You ready
is it?
for this one? Australians get a free game at launch. Yeah, you hear about this one?
Let's hear it.
Toys R Us of Australia is giving away a free PlayStation 3 game to everyone who pre-orders the system. The $50 down payment will score you that first title free of charge. So, that's kind of cool. Has nothing to do with really Sony, but it's Toys R Us. So that's cool, but it's in Australia, so it doesn't affect us at all.
I might kill two birds with one stone. Go surfing and buy a PlayStation 3.
There you go.
Get in. That free game, I mean, nowadays that free game's going to be about the same cost as a plane flight.
Oh, come on now. I really hope not.
I don't know, especially with Blu-ray. I mean, they say that Blu-ray is really expensive for developing. There's a lot of people saying that, actually on the forums, someone said that they have an EB Games source that said that a lot of the newer games that are coming out for PlayStation 3, a lot of the developers have not actually said PlayStation 3 on their list of games upcoming in the future. They're saying it's all PlayStation 2. And a lot of that, the rumors behind that is because a lot of the smaller game developers can't afford to develop on all the Blu-ray discs because, first off, the technology behind the PlayStation 3 is very expensive to design for. The Blu-ray is a lot more expensive to code and develop than regular standard DVDs. So, I mean, who knows? This could be a pretty expensive endeavor for the Blu-ray discs.
That's bad news.
Indeed.
And
this is the last thing that PlayStation 3 needs, Sony needs.
Yeah.
They don't need a lot of developers dropping out at the last minute because they can't afford this. So, I mean...
Justice Boy 13 says, I bet PS3 games will be $70. It's very possible. Very possible.
I'm thinking that $70 is probably going to be your average game.
Yeah.
Maybe up to $75 or $80 for, your big blockbuster games like
That's
Devil May Cry
expected, though.
4.
I mean, isn't that expected to a certain extent, especially because of the Blu-ray?
It is.
I remember
Blu-ray,
spending.
it's a new technology. I mean, you're going to look at a lot more storage. You're going to be looking at the high definition capabilities and stuff like that.
I remember spending $70 to buy GoldenEye for Nintendo 64 because it was cartridge.
Yeah.
I mean, they were expensive. There were expensive games for 64. There were $65, $70 games.
Yeah,
and that
were.
was 8 years ago? 9 years? Wow. 8, 9 years ago? It's been a long time.
When you look back at it, man, it makes me look old.
It's been 9 years ago, and I paid 75. No, that was ridiculous then. It's not so bad now. 10 years later.
75 is a pretty good chunk of money. But, these days you're getting a lot more worth out of the games because of the graphics, the, content that's going to be in it. There's a lot more content. There's the online capabilities. There's the ability to, get more from online. So, you could always add to the content that's already on the game. And you're looking at basically just complete total immersion into the game environment. $75 doesn't seem like too bad of a deal, especially if you're going to be playing these games a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, no doubt.
Immersion, a company that creates peripherals for the PlayStation, have created a rumble feature controller that also is motion sensitive. And what hasn't many people realized is that Sony was going off at E3 that rumble is out of the controller because it's going to interfere with the capabilities of motion sensitivity, which doesn't make sense because I don't see it interfering too much. I think it's more of a scapegoat because of the fact that obviously they're in that large lawsuit with the DualShock controller because it had rumble features that apparently were stolen. Once again, Sony stealing stuff from some other smaller game developer who actually put a patent on rumble technology and controllers. But anyways, Immersion recently came out with a controller that is completely compatible with the motion controller with the rumble feature. So it doesn't look like this rumble is really going to affect the motion sensitivity at all. Maybe PlayStation or Sony is coming out with more lies just to cover themselves.
I don't know what to say about rumble. You've been used to it for so many years.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I don't think I'm really going to miss it, to be honest with you. I don't know. I just have to see how.
Well, I have to say because the original Xbox controllers obviously have rumble, and I used to play Halo 2 with those controllers, and then I switched over to a mouse and keyboard, and obviously that does not have rumble features at all. But it was really awkward knowing that you're getting shot, but you can't feel it, and it's just kind of
that's true.
It's just kind of another. Instead of just your visual and audio elements, it's kind of a physical element that helps, convey the game.
And the bad thing is that we're just so used to it now.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of expected that, if it's a next-gen console, it's going to have the rumble features. It's almost as if, if Sony doesn't put rumble in their controllers, they're kind of gypping us, They're not giving us all the features that we deserve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. To a certain extent, we'll have to see what happens.
It's me, Mario! You're listening to the Wii60Show!
Hey, Wii60 fans! Do you have questions, comments, or suggestions for the guys? Send them to Wii60Show@gmail.com. Jerbol and Big Luke would love to hear from you, and your questions and comments help the guys do the show. And we all know they need it. Also, feel free to record audio questions in the form of MP3s for them to play on the air. Just email them at Wii60Show@gmail.com or post in the Wii60Show forums at Wii60.com.
So the poll for show 3 of the Wii60 Show was, if you could only have one, which would you take? The Nintendo Wii or the Xbox 360? And the reason the PS3 wasn't there is because this was just a question for the community, because pretty much everyone here is going to have probably both. That's the whole point of the Wii60 community. But the question was, if you could only pick one, which one would it be? That's a tough one. And I have to say that I voted for the 360, first off. What'd you vote for?
I voted for the Wii, but I have to say it was kind of like, which one of my children am I going to kill? Maybe not that dramatic, but it really was a pretty tough decision for me because, I mean, the 360 is going to have all the amazing online video games and the multiplayer elements that are just going to bring you back to the game over and over again, I should say. But the Wii is going to have, the Zelda, it's going to have the Mario, it's going to have all those games that I grew up on and really I think are the best games out there in the world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt the Xbox 360 because I feel it brings a more well-rounded package to my tastes and my preferences. Mm-hmm. And, if I don't have a Wii, I don't really know what I'm going to be missing. But if I had to get rid of my 360, then I would definitely know what I would be missing, what I wouldn't be getting. And so it's a matter of just, liking my 360 a lot, not wanting to get rid of it because I already have it, So I think I have to pick that. The poll results were very close.
This is the closest poll we've had, actually.
49.33% went with the Wii. And 46.67% went with the Xbox 360. And then we had 4% go with, if I can't have both, I won't take either. That's some die-hard commitment right there, huh?
This is a 37 to 35 difference in votes.
Yep, that was a good poll, good topic.
So some really attacked the people's opinions.
I can't believe it split almost down the middle.
Sit on the fence.
That's crazy. Oh man, any comments you want to bring out that were in that poll topic?
Well, I mean, Spyco kind of goes along with how my opinion on that 360 was just because of the great internet play and the support of the community. All the games that are coming up that do look phenomenal, like Gears of War, Halo 3, all those mostly multiplayer elements, all like games.
Mm-hmm. All right, so this week's poll topic, the poll for show number 4, is going to be... Lou, you want to take that?
How much is too much for the video games, the actual software for the next gen, or I should say this gen, consoles?
Coming in this gen. How much is too much? $75, 80, 85, 100? So
3,000? I mean...
Well, I think that's obviously too much, but
maybe
Halo 3, right? We'll make a poll, and you guys post in there, and you let us know how much is too much and why you think it's too much. Or why it's going to be worth it. If you
guys have any good points, we'll definitely put you on the air.
Oh, obviously, and we'll definitely look forward to seeing what you have to say about it. Mm-hmm. So check out that poll. That's the poll of the week. How much is too much for next generation video games? And let's move right along into our mailbag, huh? Okay, so our first mail question here is from a very clever fellow. I had to figure out his name because he had his real name in the email, and he said it was on the second post of he put a post in the forums. And it was the second post, second page, and I found his name, and it's SIHTDAERTNACUOY. That's his name. He's from Nova Scotia and has 320 posts, so he's pretty active.
Saiter-Nikakoya.
Yeah.
But actually what it is backwards. You can't read this. Clever man.
Obviously I can't.
So what does he have for us?
He says, hey guys, I was just wondering what your thoughts are for the rumored Microsoft handheld in the works. Are you for it? Do you think it could be better than PSP and DS? And what features would you like to see? So this definitely was a rumor that was going around, and we can't confirm either way if it is or isn't going to be around. Who knows? But are you for it, and do you think it could be better than PSP and DS? What do you think?
I'm 100% for it because the more competition that's out there, the better the games are going to be, the better the abilities of these handhelds are going to be. For the longest time, it was basically just Nintendo in the market with the Game Boy. It obviously mopped up with the Neo Geo, but now that Microsoft has a solid console behind them, they could probably make a semi-decent, semi-successful handheld. And I want to see this because I want to see some of the Microsoft exclusives handheld.
I completely agree. I would love to see them join in on the competition. Again, it's healthy for the industry to get some competition there, see what they can bring to the table. It'd be great, like you said, to get some of those first-party titles such as Halo, multiplayer Halo or something like that on a portable, along with more media capabilities. Maybe not too extreme, but something nice to give a well-rounded handheld entertainment package.
Now, what would be great is, now that they're going with the 360, especially, with the media center that you can hook up to your TV, if they did this, they could do something similar to that, but maybe even use it as a remote for your TV. How crazy would that be?
Yeah.
And not only would it control your TV and your surround sound and whatnot, but it would also feed into the stereo and play music, or feed into the TV and play movies. I mean, that's just a crazy idea, but it could happen.
So, what do you think it could be as good as the PSP and DS? Do you think it could handle?
Well, I think it definitely has the potential to be a lot better than the PSP, just because the PSP isn't really. I mean, it's great and all. It's got all these innovative features and stuff like that, but for what it is, it's just not that great of a system. I mean, the gameplay isn't there. There's no support for it. The battery life is horrible. The graphics are nice, but the games aren't built just solely on graphics. So I think what they can do is they can put both the strengths of the DS with the gameplay and the strengths of the PSP and make an awesome system. I don't think it'll be better than the DS, just because the DS, has the touchscreen ability, has the dual screens that just add so much more gameplay elements. But who knows?
Yeah, I posted that in the chat. It is an interesting topic, and I got a lot of negative response, actually. Let's see, I put, would you be for it, and see what people had to say, and Justice Boy says, hells no. Liquid Cheese, from the forums, he says, not really. Figado says, depends. Justice Boy says it would fail just like the PS3. Superboy says, I tell girls, or Super Toy, I tell girls I don't need a condom because I drink Mountain Dew every day. I don't think that was not in response. It's got that
yellow 17.
What is it? That wasn't in response to. It kills sperm count, but has nothing to do with the Microsoft hand. Unless the Microsoft handheld will kill sperm count. That could be.
You could, if it gets really hot, you could put it in your lap.
There you go. Gaming handheld and birth control. Right on.
Well, I think it's mainly the birth control, just because it's a gaming handheld.
Good point. Because you're gonna be playing with that, and you're not gonna be getting too much action. I don't think. Not between your PSP and your DS. You're not gonna have time. You're not gonna have time. Okay.
What do we got next in our mailbag?
We have next up to bat here is
Stalling
from Mix. And he sent us, first he asked a question, and then he goes, you know what, I'm just going to send it to you in audio. Ooh, nice. So would you like to hear his question?
Hi, I'm Mix from the Wii60 forums, and I just wanted to know what was your opinion on if Blu-ray flopped, would the PS3 flop as well? I mean, if it did flop, would it still survive because it's the PlayStation, or because it's Sony, or will it become the next Betamax beta version? Okay, thanks.
So there you go. His question: will the PS3 fail if Blu-ray fails? I think that's pretty much the gist of it. Or will it keep on going because of the Sony name? What do you think, Lou?
Well, as we've seen in the past, a lot of the Sony's proprietary formats don't really make it in the market, and they do fail. However, they don't have a game console to back them up or anything like that needs that format, that everyone must have. So it's kind of a tough decision, because the PlayStation 3 will, in fact, be amazingly, when it comes to sales, it's going to sell quite a bit. As much as we don't want it to sell as much, because a lot of people are being lied to and they don't know the true facts behind the console. Yeah. It's going to sell, and Blu-ray is going to be driven by that console. But I think the question is, will it fail in the other markets, such as movies, and also just being able to use it in computers? Yes, I do think it's going to fail, because the Blu-ray name, it doesn't have DVD in it. No one's familiar with it yet. It's expensive. Yes, it does have quite a bit of storage, but you're not going to need to put 200 gigabytes of data on a single disc. That's why you have Ethernet cable or FireWire cable to transfer from computer to computer.
Right.
So, I mean, it's going to be expensive. People aren't going to buy it. And I think it will flop. However, when it comes to the PlayStation 3, I don't know if it's going to flop or not if Blu-ray does.
I don't think people are ready to make the switch from DVD to Blu-ray.
No,
but
I agree.
If they're making, I'm not ready. I'm not going to be ready for a while because there's not a big enough leap. We've seen a huge leap between VHS and DVD. We don't see the same leap. So do I think Blu-ray will fail? Has UMD failed? Depends on how you look at it.
Actually, yes, it has.
But you still have to buy it if you want to play a PSP game.
See, that's the thing. It's similar to what the Blu-ray might become because UMD, when it comes to movies, yes, it has failed.
It has failed.
A lot of movie producers, a lot of movie companies have stopped producing for UMD, and it seems like the only movies that you can get are comedies and action, which, recently haven't had many good movies. But, so it really has failed when it comes to movies, but you have to buy them when you get the PSP. And in the past 6 months, the PSP has actually outsold the DS. So, I mean, it does have the numbers behind it. So UMD in total hasn't failed, but aside from gaming, yes, it has.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that you still have to buy it. You still have to pay money for it. People are still paying money for UMD. So, as a new media, it hasn't really taken off, but they only use that. So that's what you're stuck with. Maybe developers will start using DVD-9 instead of Blu-ray. That would be something, wouldn't it? If they boycott Blu-ray, which I don't think is going to happen necessarily. But if Blu-ray costs too much to develop for and they're losing money on it, since the PlayStation 3 does support DVD-9, maybe we'll see developers using the DVD-9 and not even using Blu-ray. Who knows?
Or maybe not even develop for the PlayStation 3 and just develop for the PlayStation 2.
Worst case scenario.
Which really isn't that dumb of an idea because, I mean, there's just millions and millions of PlayStation 2s out there.
And they're still selling.
Still a massive market out there for PlayStation 2. And
they're still selling. It's crazy. So, I don't think the PlayStation 3 success is contingent on how Blu-ray does necessarily. But
I think it's kind of quite the opposite. I think if PlayStation 3 flops, Blu-ray will definitely fail. But if Blu-ray fails as far as new media, I think Sony's still going to be able to stand up. I don't think they're going to completely go under. I think if anything takes PlayStation under, it's going to be something else. They have other things against them besides, like the price point, which I guess is, because of the Blu-ray, indirectly. So who knows? Yeah, that's a tough question, and you could talk about it for a long time. So that's just our thoughts on it. But good question,
good question, and thanks a lot. We have another voicemail actually.
All right, I like to hear what they sound like because they're making fun of my voice. I want to make fun of theirs.
All right, here's the next one.
Hey there, guys. This is Kagato Asuka from the forums, and I would like to know what are y'all's outlook on movie games? I know most of them now suck badly, but I'd like to see what you think, how they will turn out on, say, the Wii. How could they get, the new movie game based on Superman movie to work on the Wii? Is it just going to turn out to be complete crap? How are the third-party publishers going to do this? It's just really strange thinking about it.
All right, so that was actually Kagato. He said Kagato, didn't he?
Kagato Asaku.
Yeah.
Or Asuka.
I've been saying Kagato, and it's Kagato. I'm sorry, Kagato. But you know what, Kagato? I think Kagato sounds cooler. So there.
Ooh, it does. It sounds more, I don't know, cool.
It is. It's cooler. What can I say? All right, Kagato. Let's go ahead and get to your question here. Well, your thought. What's the question? Or what were you doing? Your spark of discussion. Yes, movie games normally do suck, right? Right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, Superman 64 was the greatest game I've ever played in my life.
Oh gosh.
Or what about Aquaman on the PlayStation 2? I mean,
that's probably one of the worst games ever made. Both of those, they suck almost as bad as movie games.
You mean game movies?
Game movies. Yeah, that's what I meant. Game movies. I got confused there.
I think it's kind of a hand-in-hand, approach to the movies and games. If they're going to be on both, they're going to suck. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to because what a movie does is it brings you into the game with the storytelling. It doesn't bring you in the game with the gameplay. So they're completely different. And when a movie that's completely immersive, like Lord of the Rings, you really feel like you're there with the battles and the complete drama. When it comes into a game, you're in control of everything, and it's not the same. You're not. I don't know. It's a difficult subject, I guess.
It is a difficult subject. In the defense, there have been some decent movie games.
X-Men Legends was great.
It did really good. 1 and 2 did good. But he was talking about a more, revolutionary game with the Wii. Superman with the Wii. That would be, I guess you would be sticking your fists out, holding the Wii control, flying around or something.
I guess you could do that. Yeah, that would be possible with the, you got the Wiimote and you got the nunchuck.
Yeah.
And you put both your fists out and then you,
there you go.
tilt them left and right, up and down.
That'd be kind of interesting. Or if you're doing Aquaman, cool. You would do like swimming motions. Maybe not.
They actually come out with a flipper attachment.
You're Batman. You pull your Wiimote and you throw it across the room like a batarang.
Or your nunchuck.
Yeah, yeah. See, I could see a lot of replacements there. You have to be buying a lot of replacements with those kind of games.
I think the Wii is actually going to be able to completely rewrite the rules on video games. So, this whole stereotype of movie video games are going to suck right out of the box. Mm-hmm. Nintendo could possibly, rewrite the rules and make it a rather enjoyable gaming experience with movies.
Yeah, we'll see. It is interesting to think about, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they do that. Because again, the characters, the types of movies we have, there's a lot of different scenes and a lot of things going on in a movie. For example, just off the top of my head, take like a movie like Mission Impossible, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's, in this scene you have to shoot down this helicopter. In this scene you have to defuse this bomb. In this scene you have to spy. And you have lots of little, almost like mini games.
Yeah, missions.
Which would be perfect for that kind of control, like what we see with the DS, and how those kind of games, games like WarioWare and whatnot, do very
quick
well.
Quick 15-second mini games that just.
And it may not be 15-second games as far as a movie game goes, but you would be able to implement a lot of different types of gameplay, because a lot of these movies basically opt themselves up for that, because that's how the movies are made. Movies are made with lots of different scenes and different things going on to make them interesting, but that doesn't always work out in a game because there's so much going on and the controls for each thing are so different that it's hard to keep it smooth. But whenever you have an innovative control scheme like that, it's all the same, it's all intuitive, you could easily have a game like that. So I think it would be successful. I don't know, what do you think? I'm just kind of speaking off my head here.
Well, that's actually, you brought up some really great points about the ability for, the Wii with the new innovations to capture the same atmosphere as movies with, not everything is linear.
Right.
There's a lot of things going on at the same time that you'd be able to do with the Wiimote. But also, I think, we're coming on the edge of, a lot of developers and a lot of producers of movies, they're not worried about just making money based on it's a video game. People are going to see it for the first weekend. We're going to make our money. Who cares if it's a crappy movie? You could see the Halo movies coming out. They're going balls to the wall on this movie. They've got the director of Lord of the Rings, Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be the producer, so he's going to be able to get some of the greatest movie makers around to work on the Halo movie, and I really think that this is going to be the first movie that actually is a decent game movie.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
I hope.
Yeah, I know. I think with the story that Bungie has created and the oversight that they have, that it's not going to be a bad movie. It might not be great, but I don't think they're going to be able to butcher it.
Mm-hmm.
But the same thing goes with games. I think. Developers of games are going to spend a lot more time to make it more like the movie and not just a moneymaker, because almost every movie that comes out, like Over the Hedge and what's that movie that just came out?
Cars.
cars, like stuff like that. They basically just make the same gameplay elements as Madagascar and Finding Nemo video games, just put the name and new imagery, but there's nothing special about it. They just do it to make money, but I think developers are now starting to sit down and make these better gameplay decisions, to go along with the movie.
Yeah. Well, good topic. We spent a long time talking about that. So, thanks a lot for your topics. That helps us out a lot, get us something to talk about, and I hope it was interesting.
I'd also like to mention Justice Boy 13. I recently asked him about converting my DS into a media player, and he gave me a really extensive overview on how to do this. I'm actually going to post this on the forums. But he showed me a couple of sites, especially a 4 gigabyte hard drive for the DS, and what that does is it just plugs into where the Game Boy Advance games plug into the DS, and it also has a cartridge that goes in the top, the card, and that's the media player. And he says with that, you can transfer over movies and videos and MP3s and stuff like that, and you can also put on applications like a kind of a dummied down Windows operating system.
I bet you can do some naughty things with that too.
Yeah, I'm sure you can, actually. I probably will, I'm not going to lie.
Like playing, maybe not naughty, homebrew games. Maybe that they do have Doom for a DS.
Yeah, they do have quite a bit of homebrew games here. Like, they got the Tetris games, kind of the simple games like Breakout and stuff like that. But they also have some pretty interesting looking RPG games where you can play as Link, Samus, or Kirby. He wrote out this whole thing. I'm going to put it up on the forums, and I would like to thank Justice Boy for that.
Okay. Now, how much does that cost?
It's about $150 for the hard drive, and that comes with the hard drive. It comes with the media player. It comes with the USB cords that you can plug everything in.
Are you going to be getting one of those soon?
I would love to get it. I'm coming up here next week. I'm going on a trip for a week.
I was wondering what the movie quality is like, what the video quality is like. So if you have one, let us know what the video quality is like.
Just why don't you go ahead and reply in the forum thread I'm going to make, how the quality is, because I'd like to see what this is like.
Maybe some pics too.
Yeah,
I'd really like to see that, because I'd be checking that out. It's cool.
But thanks to Justice for mentioning this, bringing this up, answering my question. See, we answer you guys' questions, you guys answer our questions. It's a circle of trust.
So we have a tribute song by Klisk called Giant Enemy Crabs. So we'll play that on our way out of the show. How's that sound?
Sounds good. I can't wait to hear this.
All right. Glad to finally get the show done. Sorry for the delay. We had some troubles today with connection issues and stuff. It happens. It was a little rough today, but I hope you enjoyed it. We both do. So before we head out here, I want to make shout-outs to everyone in chat. We have Law, Project 343, Super Toy, Yoshibot, of course, Echo Leader 91, Justice Boy 13, Kagatu, Asuka 89, Kill Kev, Liquid, and Mr., which I think is Liquid Cheese and Mr. Pink. Thanks for joining us in chat. We appreciate it.
I apologize I couldn't be there tonight. My JavaScript is messing up and I don't have IRC.
Yeah. Always the JavaScript.
Actually, I just didn't want to have to go back and forth. I'm lazy.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again, guys, for joining us, and thanks for listening to the show, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Damage, attack, weak point, for massive damage.
Giant enemy crab.
$600 you get some crabs. $600 you get some crabs. $600 you get some crabs. $600 you get some crabs.
Ridge Racer. Giant enemy crab.
$600 you get some crabs. $600 you get some crabs. $600 you get some crabs. $600 you get some crabs.
It's Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer.